Tower defense games have always been a great way to test your strategy abilities. But what if you could test them against your friend? Or even 2 or 3 of your friends? This is Tower Brawl, a top-down 3D competitive tower defense with 2 to 4 teams facing off against each other. In Tower Brawl, players can build towers, upgrade towers, activate tower abilities, and buy mercenaries. In Tower Brawl, each player or team will be defending their own castle, and the object of the game is to have the last castle standing. The player who has the last castle standing wins. To achieve this goal, players will be able to attack other players with their mercenaries, which will increase their income and allow them to build and upgrade even better defenses. The rules of Tower Brawl are simple. The game takes place on a grid-based map, with players able to place towers anywhere in their portion of the map. Each round, players will receive income, and then monsters will spawn to try to take over the player's castle. Players can also hire mercenaries to join in with the monsters, which will increase the amount of income they receive. In the 3 and 4 player game modes, each player will send mercenaries in a rotational pattern to the other teams. So in this example, player 1 would send his round 1 mercenaries to castle 2, in round 2 they would go to castle 3, and then in round 3 they would go to castle 4, and then around and around again throughout the rounds, until the opponents were defeated, one by one, and the last man standing wins the game. The main force working against the player is the monsters and the mercenaries that are sent by the other team. These creatures will spawn in the middle of the map and move towards the player's castle. Each of these creatures will have their own unique values for speed, health, and some of them will even have abilities. Throughout the game, monsters will generally increase in power with each wave, while mercenaries will increase in power based on their cost. One of the most important decisions players will have to make each game is their choice of faction. There will be 8 playable factions, each with their own unique towers, with their own values for attack, attack speed, and some with abilities or special effects. Another important decision that players have to make is how they will set up their towers. A simple maze like this would be good for a beginning player, but more advanced players might try something like this, or even something that doubles back many times like this, to extend the amount of time that creatures have to stay within their maze. In this example of gameplay, we start out with player 1 on the left, with a few towers but being heavily pushed by mercenaries sent by player 2. A new player's first instinct in this situation would probably be to build many towers and try to defend against the flood of mercenaries. However, this would allow player 2 to continue to build up their income by sending more mercenaries and eventually overwhelm player 1 in a flood of mercenaries and win the game. A more advanced player might infer that because player 2 has been sending, he will have reduced defenses and respond with a flood of mercenaries of his own, hopefully either defeating player 2 or causing him to have to bulk up his own defenses and not send for a few rounds, which will give player 1 time to build up his own defenses. However, should player 2 be able to overcome this flood of mercenaries without having to increase his defenses, player 1 finds himself in an even worse situation as he has now spent even more money not bulking up his defenses, and he will be overcome. Tower Brawl will be similar to games like Winter Mall Wars and Tropical Tower Wars, with the main difference being the inclusion of the 3rd and 4th player. The main development risk that I see is having 8 races, so if at halfway through development I have not completed 4, I will cut the other 4. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great day.